Buenos dias, bonjour, welcome everybody to the European Flavour Association podcast. Our association represents the flavor industry, the people who put taste and passion into your food. And we're going to meet them one breakfast at a time. My name is Jimena, and I will be your host at the European Flavour Association Breakfast Club. We start our morning today with Andrea Albertino. He's been a flavorist for 14 years and president of the British Society of Flavourists from 2023 to 2025, now immediate past president, still very much involved in the association and with a lot to celebrate.
I don't have the champagne with me.
Well, I hope you brought coffee or tea or something. Well, so an official welcome to Andrea Albertino. Thank you so much for joining us. And I wanted to start a bit with our tradition here, which is what you usually have for breakfast. If you can tell us, as a flavorist, maybe that's slightly different than what normal people will have.
First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity. This is for me amazing. I just can't believe it that I'm doing this. I had one podcast recently, so I just think I don't deserve it. So cool, thank you.
Of course you do. We can't wait to hear everything you have to tell us.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but still, I'm enjoying it, so that's fine. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah, as you said, my name is Andrea Albertino. I'm a senior flavorist. So started a few years ago. And through the flavorist career, you go through different steps. And at one point you become somehow senior. So you can show off being senior in something.
That's fine.
What did I have for breakfast? What did I have? I think I had a mango smoothie. First of all, I want to say, we're kind of normal people, or maybe not 100% normal, but kind of, a lot of fantasy. So normality, what's the normality? You don't know. So, but
That's a good question.
But we do pretty much the same things everybody else. But maybe when we eat and when we drink, we are a little bit more focused on the smell of what we have, which is sometimes not polite. Or we go to the restaurant and I tend to smell what I have in my plate, but not because it smells bad, just because I want to know what it smells like.
What other people have in their plates too?
Maybe I can politely ask. Yeah, do you mind if? Because the smell, the volatile part of what we have every day is amazing. So that's why I'm really curious about. Sometimes you dive a little bit too much, especially if you are at the restaurant. But it's fun. So I had a nice.
Have you recognized the molecules? If you're having a nice dish and say, it has a hint of this, and
most likely you try to, most likely you try to say, you tend to have descriptors that are different from other people. Somebody say, oh, it's sweet. Yeah, but what is sweet? It's a bit more complex, even though sweet is not, something that you smell, but you can argue it's, an whole experience. But I think sometimes you tend to associate something that you have with specific molecules, because that's what we do when you actually work. So you have to put a label on the products, and you have to translate the label into a formulation. So you can. So I think I had a nice, quite terpenic, floral, metallic mango smoothie in the morning. If it makes maybe it doesn't sound so appealing now.
it does make sense only in this context.
Exactly.
I think if we have other flavor industry people listening, they will understand. Anyone else, I don't think that's how you qualify normally your breakfast.
Otherwise, what the hell are you having? Yeah, so.
But I think that's the beauty of it. So you said a few words that are not normal in the vocabulary, terpenic, metallic. It shouldn't be scary. That's the whole point. That's the beauty of our work. Yes, there's chemistry in it, because chemistry is all around us. Chemistry is the most natural thing.
Chemistry is kind of everything which is around. It's all about how you label your things. How can you read the labels of the food that you are going to buy, and what is the perceptions, of the labeling. So people are kind of scared when they read chemical or natural flavors is better than flavors or artificial flavors. So you can, discuss about this topic for ages, but people are not really aware of what they buy. So that's why we should, we who flavorists, the industry should educate a little bit more the consumers.
Of course. And actually, there's, of course, legislation explaining what flavor is, what natural flavor is. We have EFFA guidance documents, we have any kind of technical information. But how will you explain it if you have to explain to your family, to your friends? Is your easy way to explain what you do?
Yeah, different levels. Overall, I try to explain it in a way, make like a parallel or an association with painting or painters. So when you look at the painting, you say, okay, this is amazing. But if you look really close into the analytic of the painting or of the flavor, then you can recognize the single component. So that's why, yeah, somebody says, okay, flavorists are a bit like musicians, so that the single notes are difficult to be recognized. I say, okay, we are kind of painters where the single, color or pixel, if you think about the computer, is not visible. You can only see the final composition. And it's fascinating when you have 100 components altogether. It's kind of impossible to list them all, but you have to figure out what is the final product.
This is nice because indeed you said that for you it's a bit as a painting. Some people refer to musicians, but it always are these images of artists. Do you think that flavorists are artists?
Well, maybe somebody else should say it. I think to be a flavorist, you need a lot of imagination, fantasy, passion. So maybe everything can be an art, from, real art to sport to chemistry. So when you have passion about what you do, and you can really, let's say, not to be stuck in your like something which is repetitive and doing the same thing, but you try to do something outside the box. So maybe, yeah, you can be called an artist.
And how is it for you specifically? Where do you find this inspiration? How are you finding these different ingredients that speak to you?
I just like it, I like the fact that every single ingredient is, most of them are unique, and the fact that they interact together in a different way, that makes things like different every day. So that's, for me, inspiration comes from day-to-day tasks, let's say. So you come to work and you see, okay, I have to do this, this, and that, fine. And then you end up doing completely different things because things are, for some reason, adding on top, or you realize that you can play with your tools and create something which is not expected at the beginning. So that's why, for me, the imagination, the inspiration is just like the project that you have. It sometimes can be boring, maybe, but you try to accomplish the task in a fun way somehow. Does it make sense, maybe?
Absolutely. And I think it's very enticing also to people, young people maybe looking for a profession, a passion. It's something where you can really have fun. And I've seen that people who enters the flavor industry tend to stay in the flavor industry for many years.
Yeah, I think people don't really know about the flavor industry. We don't sell products with our label, so people know, the big brands, but don't know how these big brands are made together.
How they get there.
Yeah, so there's not, and most of the times, I don't want to say all the time, so most of the times the tricky part is really to get the best taste or smell of the product. And if this is gone, the same product is, completely different, so people would not perceive it. So for me, what's kind of fascinating is the fact that in a recipe, in a super complicated recipe, if you remove a 0.1% of the all components, that could be gone completely. So you can play, you can remove a little bit of sugar, fine. You can increase a little bit the acid, cool. flavor will be somehow similar, perception will be similar. But if you remove like a small 0.1% of the flavor, the final product will be gone nearly. It's a small contribution, but it is essential.
We just ran a survey, actually, a proper consumer study at EFFA, asking consumers, 6,000 consumers from different countries, what is the main criteria they take into account when buying a food product.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, price is high in there. That's also something we have to acknowledge. But then the second one is taste. It's
Mm-hmm.
always taste. Doesn't matter the gender, the age, the country, whatever, to whoever you're asking, is taste. Because indeed, that is what will make you feel happy while
Yeah.
eating, just enjoying the act of eating and not just feeding yourself.
Yeah, I think this is like the process of repetitive purchase of a final consumer. So everybody can buy a product and say, I'm curious because it has a nice label, it has a nice can. And say, yeah, but how can you get your consumers loyal? I agree that it's about mainly the taste. When you have dinner and you have to enjoy, you can eat something that you don't like once, twice, or you can, but you can do it for the rest of your life. So that's why the flavorist work has to be really focused on what is the final consumer perception and acceptance.
And one thing that I found fascinating when I discovered the flavor industry is that you have also chefs in-house.
So anytime you evaluate a flavor, you can do it on its own. So you have your flavor, you smell it on your smelling strip, and you say this flavor is floral and spicy and creamy and so on. Fine. But this is not what people will have at the end. Nobody will smell your flavor on the table. So this flavor has to be translated into a final product. And what does final product mean? Could be hundreds of different options. So that's why it's very important to know, or at least to predict, or you think you predict the behavior of this flavor in the final application. So that's about the solubility of this flavor. That's about the interaction of the single components into the final medium. Is it fat-based? It is water-based? Does it contain protein? Does it contain sugar? Is sugar-free? So there are so many variables that you have to take into account, and you can only take them into account when you taste the product in the final application. Therefore, the relationship of the flavor department with the other department, mainly application departments, is very important. They have to know about flavors, and we have to know about the application. So how this, you can recommend, you can start with a specific dosage, and then you play a little bit according to what is the final product that they are building together. You mentioned about chef. This is mainly a savory thing. Myself, I'm a sweet flavorist, sweet and beverage flavorist. But it's true that if you are a savory flavorist, then you mainly deal with products that are cooked at the end. Okay, could be simple, could be French fries, but it can be more complicated. A burger. So the chef have to put together your flavor and additional ingredients to kind of cook a meal. I think many companies they have these chefs and they try these products in the canteen of the company. So you have a kind of
So for a lot of people,
survey of the food that they are preparing, and from your side you have a survey, like a kind of feedback on your flavors. What is the kind of consumer perception.
And can you tell us a bit more about you? So, for how long have you been a flavorist, and especially how did you get to this industry? Almost everyone that I have asked, and all the flavor ambassadors, we have really a few people who like always dream about it as a little kid. A lot of people just came by accident, they say, because they didn't know the industry existed. And once they got here, they absolutely fell in love and have never left. So, what was your experience?
Yeah, so I'm in the category of like just landed by accident. in the flavor industry. I never had a dream about being a flavorist because I just didn't know that it existed before. Maybe I hope my son is dreaming about being a flavorist in the future because I always like, yeah, try to smell something with him or say, okay, what does it taste like? What does it smell like? So try to get into a little into the mood. How it started a few years ago. I think it's 14 years ago. So soon after my PhD in chemistry, I had the opportunity to start an internship in a flavor company in Italy because I get the connection from the university. So after having this connection with the university, I had a short interview. I had a look at the lab and I was completely like fascinated by this lab. And I mean, and I said, okay, so many bottles, what are they for? And then I started realizing that every single bottle has slightly different smell, and if you put them together, you create some magic.
And in addition to being a flavorist in a flavor house, you are also president of the British Society of Flavorists. Can you tell us a bit more about that and the power of associations, society organizations?
Yeah, this is fun. For me, again, another incredible opportunity I got that also think I don't deserve, but I took it and I tried to do my best.
Please.
So the society it was founded in 1970, so a few years back, mainly British focused, or probably only British focus at the beginning, and then it got more and more international, especially during COVID. That's where I started
Right.
being more involved into organizing online events. And what is the purpose? The purpose is to spread the word of flavors around, so make people more aware of what we do. At the same time, to get inspiration from other people, from university, from researchers. So that's why we organize some events where we are also inviting professors. It's funny because there is a big concern about IP into flavor industries. Would never ever share a formulation with somebody else because this is like is the secret of the final product. But we are a bunch of people that, as you said, from different countries and companies and gathering together and, talking about the industry. So there is like I said, a big wall between your day-to-day work and about what's outside, what it's possible to share. So we can talk about flavor trends, we can talk about um, scientific researches that are published. We can talk about legislation because this is all which is black and white, and that's why you can get inspiration from other people. You can get access to either people or societies or university that most likely you would not have had access if you were not part of of this of this society. And that's why for me it's absolutely fascinating to have the opportunity to talk to university professors that are seen like legends in the industry,
Yeah.
to other people that are in the industry for ages and they are like really considered to be stars of the flavor industry, as well as perfumers. So we have close relationship with the British Society of Perfumers because we are organizing online and in-person events together. So we catch up from time to time, and yeah, we have the possibility to share and to improve together.
Of course. So within BSF, you are organizing events around specific ingredients. Can you tell us a bit more about past and upcoming events?
Yes, of course. Everything started pretty much summer 2023 when we decided to start organizing in-person events again because, as we said, like it's nice to have online events, online episodes. It's all good, but when you see other people face to face, it's completely different story. So that's why I said let's try to focus on specific topics that are relevant to flavorists. And every time you choose a topic which is very complex, and that's why we chose coffee at the beginning, it's really relevant to flavor creation, because coffee first, you generate so many components every time you brew a coffee because of the process behind, from fermentation, roasting, brewing, and different type of processes. And that's why we chose coffee as a starting point. And the first event was held in Italy in October 2023. And because the first one was quite a success, we said, okay, let's go on. And we chose chocolate as second one, October 2024. And that was, hosted by you guys of EFFA. So it was really, we are really grateful for that.
Well, it was really a pleasure for us. It was really a pleasure for us. We learned a lot, as you said, the opportunity to be with academia, with Flavourist, and of course to do the tasting together. That's when you learn most.
It worked really well as location, organization, and the word started to spread around Europe, around the Flavourist community, and that was like, yeah, the event was fully booked, organized perfectly by your side.
Perfectly by your side too. A really good cooperation.
And it was, a good job. Good job from our side too, in spreading and advertising around. And that's why I said, okay, let's do it in 2025 again. And the event is growing. We had around 24, 25 attendees last year in October in Brussels. And now we are aiming at probably doubling the number of attendees. We have a bigger location, so the topic will be whiskey. Again, it's a fascinating topic, very complex history, process, and yeah, it's so complex, creating flavors for alcoholic beverages as well as replicating spirit flavors. The location can only be Scotland, Edinburgh. Will be in November. The 6th and the 7th will be 2 days. We are gonna have a full day event with 8 speakers plus tasting. And if we can make it through till the end of the day with a lot of tastings, we'll have Johnny Walker Experience Tour, 90 minutes, because the event will be held at Johnny Walker facility in Prince Street in Edinburgh. We are gonna have a dinner that evening, whiskey pairing dinner. And yeah, if we can make it through the second day,
I was gonna say next
that
morning will be tough.
will be difficult, but we'll visit a distillery 1 hour away from Edinburgh, the Glenkinchie Distillery, again with a tour of the facility. And as I said, yeah, we are aiming at having between 50 and 60 attendees, because we have quite a big location. We can fit more persons, so that's our target. And at the moment it's looking pretty good, because we only have 10-ish available spots, so we are nearly there. We'll probably leave the registration open for maybe 1 month or a little bit longer, because yeah, we are nearly fully booked. So
For the people listening, what do they need to do if they want to grab those 10 seats?
So just visit the BSF website, bsf.org.uk. We have a page dedicated to the event. So you'll see the program, you'll see the speakers, you'll see abstracts and bios of every speakers. You'll see our activities. And one thing that I would like to mention, which is a little bit, different, out of the box, we are inviting every attendees to create a whiskey flavor. This is, yeah, kind of flavor competition. This is in collaboration with the VCF database. And VCF database is an online database where you can find chemicals that are occurring in natural sources. We will offer availability of these chemicals found in specific types of whiskies, and the attendees will have to create their own flavors. They don't have to cheat because we don't want to use flavoring preparation, only chemicals according to this list that we'll provide to the attendees. And yeah, we'll evaluate these flavors on smelling and tasting in a 40% ABV application. And most likely the winner will bring back a bottle of good whiskey. That will be the price of the competition. But I mean, it's just, a nice way
Really
for,
interesting, of course, to really also put in practice everything they learned during that day.
yeah, the engaging with, with the attendees and make a little bit of something fun and, bring up discussion. Why did you use this raw material instead of another one? Strictly
Inspire each other.
flavoring creation topic.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's really special. I don't think it's something that flavorists get to do on regular basis, to be out there exchanging this way with other flavorists.
We usually don't because, strict IP, company IPs, so we are not allowed to give out anything that we do in our companies, which is, yeah, a little bit different compared to perfumers. Of course, there is, IP in perfumery, but most of the time the perfumers are known outside, so they have their own signature on their creations, where flavorists don't. And in this case, because every single flavor will work on his own, and his own creation will not belong to the company. So we'll just open these recipes and discuss on what they have done and why they have done it. So that it's just making some fun. This recipe won't go anywhere, but we'll give some additional inspirations to the attendees.
Is it too early to ask you about 2026?
It's not too early, but it's probably too early to answer because I already have a couple of ideas, but I don't want to give them out because I've spoken with a couple of potential organizers, but we haven't agreed anything yet. But I can say that both topics will be as fascinating as the last three and relevant to Flavourist. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know yet because still a few things to tick off. But if it's not gonna be 2026 for one of the two, it'll probably be 2027. So the event is growing, and Flavorist community are reacting quite well to this opportunity. So yeah, looking forward to more to come.
Congratulations on this. I think the flavorist community absolutely see the value, and this was also one of the footprints of your presidency.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I love doing it. That's the problem. So that I'll keep doing it.
I wanted to ask you also a bit more personal question. At EFFA, we have a whole campaign about what is the taste that brings you to your happy place. Well, I know that's a difficult one.
Very difficult question.
I know.
Yeah, I think you have to associate something which is linked to your younger time
Yeah,
because there's a big connection between memory and taste or smells.
always.
I probably think about a sweet combination of sweet and savory smell of a stew that I remember my grandmother used to prepare for me. Sweet and savory because I think there is a big combination with these two, so everything cannot be reduced to only one smell or taste. Is the combination of all that makes it perfect. So every time I come across something, I mean, cannot be the same, cannot be the same, but something similar, in the direction of this is what makes you feel aware of what you are doing and the way you can recreate something that you have experienced in the past.
It's funny because indeed most of the people we interviewed answer things related to their childhood. I think it's normal. Well, Andrea, really thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to discuss with you as always. And we've been through flavor creation, caviar events, flavor perception,
consumer trends. It was really enriching. Thank you very much.
No, thank you from my side. Yeah, I enjoyed talking to you, and I hope this conversation will be enjoyable for other people as well. So yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Bye bye. Thank you.